Okay, this is Moshe coming to you from Israel and the Galilee with the Evening War Report. So this is ironic and funny. The Houthis closing the Red Sea and the Sea of Aden now too, as of late, um, has caused land routes to open up. The big one is from Haifa, the port of Haifa in Israel, to Dubai, the UAE, in the Persian Gulf by the Sea of Oman area. So a ship will go to the UAE, unload, go on trucks, traverse into Israel, basically using Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel. Go to Haifa, get on another ship, and go where it's going. Okay? And vice versa. Come into Haifa, then go to Jordan, then go to Saudi Arabia, then go to UAE and depart. And Egypt is also, to a lesser extent, getting some of this traffic. Mostly it's Haifa and the UAE. So Israel is wound up making money off of this because the amount of traffic coming into Haifa is picked up. And where's the expense? Well, they have to offload the container ship, put it on trucks, and truck it, right? And then vice versa, it comes in on trucks and they got to load it back in the container ship. So there's port fees for the boat, and commerce picks up for the people, stevedores, if you will, loading and unloading the containers. So it's doing pretty good for Israel. It's hilarious. So the Houthis have been blessing Israel with money. Egypt is threatening Israel because Israel wants to stop the flow of weapons coming into Hamas, and Egypt doesn't want to hear anything about it. So they're going to have to be dealt with. But they get dealt with in prophecy, but I think it's down the road a piece, not many years, maybe weeks, months. Netanyahu let it leak that if we do this 60-day ceasefire in exchange for the hostages, what'll happen is we'll probably never be able to resume the war again. So Biden will get his way. But Biden will get what God has for him and that country, the whole country. They're just bullying Israel around lock, stock, and barrel here. Lebanon tried a pretty good attack at one of our mountain bases, and the damage was slight. We've been attacking Lebanon pretty voraciously during the day, and we're working in Khan Yunis in Gaza very aggressively, very strongly. Lots of bombings, lots of activity, and we're just advancing more and more. I think there might actually happen, some sort of peace thing might actually happen, a ceasefire, I would think. It seems to lend itself into prophecy. It could happen, I don't know, but they'll break it. But then I believe one or two things would happen with Lebanon. Lebanon may say, okay, we'll cease our hostilities if you do. But if you start up again with Gaza, so will we. I don't know what'll happen. I mean, I don't think they're going to say, well, we're going to keep attacking you during the ceasefire. Will the Houthis also stop? It's possible. And that's what that's what Biden wants to see happen. He doesn't want to blow the Houthis up. He doesn't want to do that. And he doesn't want to see us devastate Lebanon, but that's going to happen. It's in prophecy. I covered it today. They're not going to be looking like a desert wasteland, but they're going to get busted up quite a bit. Quite a bit. Lots of fires up there. And it's in Zechariah 11 and I think 9. I covered it in the morning video. And that should happen. So Netanyahu may pull the troops from Gaza, put them up by Lebanon, and go to work on Lebanon in a big way. That Hezbollah. I think Israel needs to shove them back by the Livni or Litani, however you pronounce the thing, river, 17 miles north of the Lebanese-Israeli border, and that would that would convince the residents of the north by the Lebanese border, Kiryat Shmona, Metula, and places like that, to return home. I understand 80,000 are displaced, and the government is paying for the hotels. So they get into hotels. Now, the hotels are readily available because there's a drop in tourism. I would say tourism is off by 95, 98%, you know. We know some people that are actually coming to Israel from America, you know, at the end of the month. It's the only tourism I ever heard of. I never heard of it before. No. So the tour buses are parked, but the government may be hiring them for moving soldiers around. I don't know. The rent-a-car companies got plenty of business because the government is renting lots of cars because they expanded their military capabilities by activating all the reservists way more than they had an appropriate amount of vehicles for. So they're doing okay, and some of the hotels are doing okay, like in Eilat, where they have people from the south staying in those hotels, and I don't know where the people in the north are staying. I never asked. They're staying in a hotel someplace, I don't know where. So those hotels are doing good, but in general, I would say the hotels and the restaurants and the tour buses and the tour guides and the tourist attractions are gone. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing to speak of. They can't stay open for the piddly amount of tourists that might come around. So there's a lot of restaurants that are tourist operated, a lot of shops for the tourists. They're defunct. I mean, they may bounce back, but they're not doing any business now. Nothing. So that's a hurt on the economy. Plus, a lot of businesses down, and a lot of workers in industries are not at work because they're in the reserves. So you have issues there. I don't know what I haven't really been looking hard at the total economic picture, but it's not so good. My wife went to the charity handout for food today. It's just fruit and vegetables, and there was some decent stuff there. I understand the carrots were very good and things like that. I think there's some good eggplant they had. Last week they had just junk, so I was getting a little worried about the harvest, but no, they had good stuff. My wife's been making beef jerky in case we get into this thing with Lebanon, but she gave me some tonight. It was great. I was going to sit down and make myself a bowl of peanut flavored Thai noodles with soup, from a box, And I went into the kitchen to get my olive oil. Of course, I was having trouble again with the carbs, too many carbs. I was getting tired and stuff, so I ate some olive oil with a big meal after the broadcast. I put it on bread quite a bit, and I didn't get tired or anything. It was great. So then I was going to eat tonight. So I said, well, I'll take some more bread and dip it in. I pour the olive oil on it, and I did that. And I was going to eat the noodles, which is a reasonably high carb thing. And then she whips out this beef jerky, and that was good. I gave a couple of little pieces to the dogs, the big dogs. So they love it. Beef jerky to a dog is like the combination of a bone and meat. They love it. They don't know what it exists. The thing that they love, I think, more than anything, is pork grinds. I know it's not kosher. You can't get it in Israel, but they love that because it's meat and bone. They just love it. You can feed them anything. They adapt to anything. So I think the olive oil is going to be working out for me. I used to take it. I stopped. When my wife came home, I stopped. When she wasn't here, I was using it. I found that if I cooked like fried steaks and stuff and vegetables in olive oil, I was generous with the olive oil. It was all I needed, But then she got back and I stopped taking it, and I do much better when I take it. So back on the olive oil, but it's pretty tasty. And we got tons of it in Israel. You can also eat olives, but you got to eat like they say 14 or something like that to get a tablespoon, something like that. It's easier to I just like taking the olive oil, putting it on a plate, and sopping the bread in it and eating it. That just works for me. Taking just a tablespoon of olive oil, I don't know. It's greasy. I don't know. I like putting it in bread, or cooking with it, or putting it on salads or something. But in the winter, we don't eat a lot of salads here. It's cold all the time. So that's basically the war outlook. The Houthis are still trying to tag ships. America and the UK are bombing them. More countries are going to be joining in these festivities. The EU's has decided they're going to join in. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure on Israel to just stop the war. And if we stop the war for a week or something, it'll resume. But if we stop for 60 days, it'll never resume. But Hamas isn't that interested in the deal. Now, what's triggering a lot of this is the people that were hostages in Gaza are coming back and telling us about the murdering of other hostages that they saw. And they're telling us about the constant daily raping all the time of the women. And they're getting a lot of, they're explaining that women are being raped every day, constantly, day and night, and abused in every perverted way, for over 100 days now. So, Netanyahu's kind of going with the flow, and Biden is pushing, but I still think Netanyahu knows what he's doing. They're not. Hamas isn't interested in this. They want. What they want is thousands of terrorists in jail to be released to them. That'll replenish the ranks of all those we killed. And they want a full withdrawal out of Gaza and no return. And they want a permanent ceasefire until they break it, of course. And they want a multinational task force there to enforce the no ceasefire. Of course, while they want all this, they're going to be telling everybody that they won the war. And then they want a gradual return of the hostages. And that's it. And Hezbollah helping them, and the Houthis helping them, or, of course, giving them some steam. And the Americans in the UK can bomb these people all they want, and they're not going to get an end to the attacks. The only way they're going to get an end to these attacks, in my opinion, and I think I speak from experience living here and watching Hamas-Israel war, is a large ground invasion. And I think it'll take them 4 to 6 weeks to wipe it up. But because they have more troops and better technology, America does, than Israel. They got more planes, they got more bunker buster bombs. They can raise a large amount of troops with the help of the EU. They got technology. They got a lot of warships that can pelt missiles down day and night. They got more Apache attack helicopters in Israel. We have a shortage of those. More jets, more bombers. They can really let them have it. The outcry from the world will be nothing but insane, because they're going to pick up a massive amount of collateral damage with civilians, because the Houthis are going to practice human shield war crimes like Hamas. So America probably figures if they have enough countries involved in this coalition, what the heck is the UN going to do about it? Nothing. And then they're right. If you got 12 or 15 substantial countries, what's the UN going to do? And that's what it's shaping up to be. So we'll have to see how this goes. Does Biden really have the guts to do this? He might. It looks like Trump is not yet the official Republican candidate, but it's looking good and looking close for him. So if they don't run Biden, who the heck are they going to run? How can Biden run with an open border ticket? Who wants that? I mean, how he, So he's probably not planning on running. He's probably planning on the destruction of America previous to election time. So, that's about it. Oh, this morning on the video I was talking about Joshua the high priest and what kind of tie he might have with Elijah. I don't see much tie at all. I investigated it. I don't see anything. I had an interesting idea, and I said I had no idea if there was anything there or not, but I would investigate it, and I investigated it with the scriptures, and there's nothing there. No, that's not it. No. There's a lot of connections between what Elijah did in 1 Kings, like 17 and 18, and what he will do, like in Malachi 3 and 4, and Zechariah 12, and all, and I'll go through that tomorrow. Tremendous correlations there, but it's Elijah and Elijah, it's not someone else, so there's no connection. So anyway, that's what I got for now, and I send my shalom to all those who love Yeshua HaMashiach, and I'm out.